Good evening. I am Dr. Gregory A. Salters, and welcome with us tonight as we're going to be talking about success is options. You all know that's one of the things in my hashtag that I like to use because in my world, I believe that the more options you have in life, the greater your chances are for success. Tonight, we're going to be talking about what is fueling you. And let's think about that. If you've ever gone out there, and I will date myself a little bit, we think about it. When you're fueling yourself, a lot of times when you talk to the individuals that are in the health and fitness world, they talk about what we eat, what foods we consume. You have people becoming vegans, people watching their caloric intake, watching everything that they eat. That's very good for our physical body, but what about our mental state? What are we feeding ourselves? And I like to give you this analogy. The analogy I'd like to do is let's think about a sports car, or let's think about the type of cars that you drive. And if you go back and like I stated, I'll date myself. When we were growing up, my dad had a car. I'll never forget it was a Catalina with the big 454 engine. And so when we had that car, you had to put premium fuel in that car. You had to put 93 octane in it. If you did not put 93 octane in the car and you tried to save some money and put some of the lower octane gas in there, when you turned it off, it would just run a little bit extra. It'd be like a rough rumble rush, and then it would kind of settle and it wouldn't ever run proper because you were not fueling this high performance vehicle with high performance fuel. When you look at yourself, you think about it, are you a high performance individual, and are you fueling yourself with what a high performance individual really needs? And let's look at it on the other side with the vehicles. If you ever notice that if you had a car that wasn't a high performing vehicle, it was a nice vehicle, got you from point A to point B, saved gas and everything. Did you know that it could run with the lower octane fuel? It could run on the 87 octane fuel. But did you notice it even ran better when you put the 91 or the 93 octane fuel in it? So you see the high performing vehicles or the high performing individuals need to have the high performance fuel. Individuals that may not realize that they are high performing, they will also perform better when they put the high performing fuel in them. So no matter what it is that we're doing or how people have talked about us, thought that we did things, or whether we are that little sleeper where we're just waiting to show people what we're capable of doing, that high performance fuel is what we need to go to that next level. And so when you think about the high performance fuels that are out there, let's think about it. When you have gone out there and you are working your jobs, whether you're in college, high school, elementary school, on beginning your career, mid-career, or toward the twilight of your career, or whether you're an entrepreneur, the more high performance fuel you put into your mind and into your organization, the better that you and your organization will perform. When we talk about it, it's very interesting when you look at it. Let's look at it from law enforcement standpoint, and we're going to walk it around there and look at career standpoints. And I see that we have in here, got Wayne Boyer with us again tonight over there from the Institute of Public Safety out there at Broward College. Thanks for everything that you're doing and pouring that high performance fuel into the individuals that are entering our law enforcement profession. They're definitely going to need it. And as you stated, garbage in, garbage out. And when you look at it, if you put in garbage, it's really going to be even worse than what came out because it's going to decay while it's in there. So we want to make sure we are using high performance fuel. And what I want to do also when we're dealing with this, so that you can be looking at it and get a visual for my visual learners and kind of think about it. And this is where you need to think about it. And we talk to people about it when you are going to that next level. When we're getting into this discussion, I want to give you two visuals. One is of a rocket ship. If you've ever noticed a rocket ship, when a rocket is taking off, that is when it uses rocket fuel. Rocket fuel is very high performance fuel. It is very combustive. So if you are a rocket, do you have that high performance fuel in you? And now let's look at it as you're beginning to take off. You know, when the rockets begin to take off, they do the countdown because it is exciting. Everybody wants to watch this rocket take off. So as the rocket is getting ready to take off, you have the countdown, and you notice that when it's getting ready to take off, all of the astronauts are buckling in. Even the individuals outside of it are getting away from where the actual emissions are coming from. They're a safe distance away because they know something great is about to happen. So when you see individuals that are backing away from you, that's because they see that great things are about to happen. But are you buckling up and getting ready for this ride? Because once the energy hits the rocket and the rocket ship is launched, as it goes up into the atmosphere, you begin to see it. All of that power and all of that energy, the most energy is needed to get it off of the ground. Now, once it gets off of the ground and it is up into the atmosphere, one interesting thing that happens that we must take advantage of and we must know about with that rocket is that at that time it jettisons its engines. And what does that do? Because some things that you used and some people, some things, some baggage that you had with you at a certain level, you have to get rid of it for you to go higher. Hopefully you heard what I said. It takes a lot of energy to get off of the ground. But when you get to a certain level, there are going to be certain thoughts, certain actions, certain individuals, certain practices that you're going to have to get rid of for you to go to that next level. That's what happens with the rocket. For those that are unfamiliar with the rocket, let's look at it this way. And many of us have not traveled much because of COVID, but you think about it. When you would go to the airport, when you would get up there to the counter, did you ever notice that they weigh your baggage? Did you hear me? They weigh your baggage before you get onto an airplane. So if you're going up to an airplane, they have stated that only a few individuals, they have already allocated how much extra weight each passenger can take with them, or else they're going to be charged additional money. How many of us have individuals that are riding our coattails, or are we riding others? But sometimes you got to get rid of some baggage. So once you get up there, you're going to get to that line and they're going to say that your baggage is over. At that point, you have an option. You can either pay the additional cost to carry that extra baggage. And when we're saying pay cost, when you're at the airport, it is dollars on your credit card or out of your pocket that you must pay. But in life, that cost could be a delayed transfer, a delayed promotion, as something that doesn't happen because you have too much baggage. But what they also do is they give you an opportunity to address that extra weight. And the interesting thing here, watch this analogy. If you're traveling on your own, you're going to either have to pay the extra or leave something. But if you are traveling with some other individuals, because remember, your grandmama used to say, watch the company you keep. So if you're traveling with other individuals that are successful and wanting to be successful, you might be able to take some of the weight out of your baggage and give it to someone else. So therefore the team, can get on the plane and go to the next level. So remember, if you want to go far, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, take some other individuals with you because they can help you with some of that baggage. So let's think about that as we go and we're moving forward and trying to get to this next level. Because remember, as I stated, success is option. So when you're over here and you pull up to that gas tank and you're trying to fill up, you have an option of what octane fuel you put in your tank. So right now, when we're talking about it, and I've talked about it in some type of an allegory here, but let me talk specifically. When you're going to training classes or when you're going to meetings, are you going to meetings to just sit there and take in what's there, or are you really going to get fed? Do you go to those? When you're here with me, allowing me to be into your space at this particular time, are you here hoping that I can add something to you so that you can go to the next level? Because what I'm looking at is if this is high octane fuel, I want to be able to pour this into any and everybody that's trying to go to the next level. And there's also another side of this. As everything, there's two sides to every story. When you are looking to fill yourself with high octane fuel so that you can go to the next level, what octane fuel are you? So when you're talking to individuals, are you high octane fuel so that therefore they can go to the next level, or are you low octane fuel? So therefore, if you look at this, if we're constantly seeking to fill our tanks with high octane fuel, we should also be constantly seeking to fuel other people. So we must be high octane. So now when we go to classes, how do we decide which class we go to? How do we decide which video we watch? How do we decide what music we listen to? How do we decide what self-improvement things we listen to? How do we decide which university we go to? How do we decide what teacher we attend? And you all think about it, when we were signing up for classes in college, didn't we basically look at and evaluate the instructor? Because we were like, wow, if this teacher is not high octane, why would I want to attend that class? And if you say you didn't do it, were there ever some classes weren't there certain professors that their classes always filled up and other professors always had vacancy? Those with the high octane, their classes were always filled because people wanted to get that high octane to deal with it. Even if you look at it in sports and analogies, you look at it, the individuals and the coaches that are stern, that are providing the rigor, providing the teaching, providing the mentorship, aren't they the ones that have the championship teams? You look within your organization. And it's interesting because in law enforcement, I know at my agency, what we have contractually, the supervisors must pick first. So therefore, the officers see who the supervisors are, and then the officers select where they wish to work based on seniority. That's their shift pick. So many times they'll look at the supervisors as well as the co-workers, and they're looking for something whenever they decide when they're doing it. When I was picking, I wanted to have high octane supervisors, and I want to have high octane team members, because like Grandma used to say, birds of a feather flock together, watch the company you keep. So therefore, we were able to help each other go to that next level. And this is another thing that I've noticed is I have facilitated classes. Every time when I go out and I facilitate classes, people can often miss the best part of a training session. Many times you go to training sessions and it's just like going to college. Most of the lessons that I learned in college, I learned outside of the classroom, dealing with the networking and combining with others and going. That was what fueled you. When you got into certain organizations, whether you were in the fraternities, the sororities, the band, Army ROTC, your professional organizations, you got into those organizations because you wanted them to fuel you. One of the things I also see, I see Alex Jordan, thanks for joining us. I see Montoya, thanks for commenting. I appreciate you. Ellie Mae, I know you have some things that are going on out there in the business world. So a lot of you all that are here that we're dealing with now are very familiar with going to that next level and making sure you have that high octane fuel to get your high octane business, your high octane mind to that next level. And everyone I see commenting here are some definitely high octane people that are pouring into others. And as you stated, Brother Jordan, assessment is very important. Now, when you're talking about assessment, were you talking about assessment of the fuel that you have, or the assessment of which? If you just type that in for me so I could answer your question as we are live. And I know you're doing a lot of things over there up in Tallahassee, out there in the educational realm in the colleges. And let's do some things and make things happen. I see Dr. Burt, another good alpha man, came in, who's down with Miami-Dade College. So we're having in here, let's look at the educational stuff that we have here. We have Broward College represented here with Mr. Boyer. We have up there, we have Tallahassee. I forget which college you're with, Alex. And then we have Miami-Dade. So we're talking about all of these universities that are high octane universities that are pouring into individuals because they can go out there and go to that next level. But as I stated, when we go to classes, do we actually connect with other individuals in the class? Or do we just go to class, get the material, and leave? When you connect with individuals in that class, that makes your learning even that more rich. And that's more fuel. And when you look at high octane fuel, it combusts at a higher level. It's a bigger combustion. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that Big Bang theory as to what happens in your life, what happens in your organization. So now when we're talking about this, what I want to know, and we talk about success, and as I mentioned in the little write-up that's with this in the description, I said everybody describes success differently. But one thing I can tell you, no one wakes up one morning is successful. Success is a participation sport. No one, success is uphill. It is not downhill. There's no one that just woke up one morning and said they were successful. So when you think of success for you, what does it actually mean? For me, success is options. That means I have an opportunity to choose between whatever it is I do, whether it is to get up in the morning and go out, whether it is to wear this pair of shoes, that pair of shoes, to eat, not to eat. Success to me is options. And John C. Maxwell, one of my mentors, his definition of success is, he said, success is significance, because everyone wants to be significant. So if you would, out there, just type in, say success is, and you fill in the blanks, because that's what I want you to do, because we need to know, how do you define success? What is it for you? Okay. And then we say, okay, right here. Okay, Alex, you say assessment is beneficial before giving high octane fuel. Most definitely, because one of the things you have to look at is sometimes some vehicles or some individuals may not be ready for the high octane fuel at this particular point. And for those individuals that are out there into the performance things, they may need to get a chip, one of those high performance chips, or they may need to get a tune up before they are ready for the high octane fuel that you give. It's just like when you have a baby. You had some babies and you look at everybody that's commented here, these are some high octane individuals, and I'm sure they enjoy fine dining and may eat steak and lobster now. But when they were 1 month old, they were not ready for that steak and lobster. So you had to wait until they were old enough or mature enough to eat that steak and lobster. But it's our job, if you're really pouring into them, to be, as Brother Jordan said, you must assess them first so that you can make sure you do not burn them out and provide the wrong fuel at the wrong time. So thank you very much for that comment. That is one thing that we must definitely do. So we look at it and we say, these are what we need to do for success. So now when you talk about these success options and you talk about success and we talk about fueling yourself, what I want you to do is you think about it when we're being successful and we're talking about things, and you have to be intentional. When you talk about some laws of growth, one of the 15, when you have 15 laws of growth and you're talking about it, the very first law is intentionality. So are you being intentional about what it is that you want to do? When you're wanting to be successful, how intentional are you? Are you going out and doing things to get you to the next level, or are you waiting on something to occur? So that's some of the things we look at. So when you are thinking tonight, are you thinking, are you planning, are you seeing and directing and ordering your steps? Are you meditating? Are you putting things into your mind to get you to that next level? Are you weighing your luggage? Are you weighing your baggage before you get to that proverbial airport and before you get up to the ticket counter and ready to go on your trip? Are you making sure that you notice you can have some baggage? They just say you can't have too much. So as you're getting ready to take off in this rocket ship, are you beginning to buckle yourself in for this ride that you're going to be on? Do you see individuals around you that are beginning to back up because they're seeing that you're getting ready to take off in this rocket ship? As we're having this discussion, let's think about it. What high octane fuel is out there that you can feed yourself? We're getting towards the fourth quarter of this year. We're getting toward the end of 2021. This has been an interesting year. When you're getting toward the end of the year, a lot of times that's when you see who is the true champion and who is really ready to go to that next level. It's the ending of the game. It's just like the ladies are when you're having your baby. That's that last portion, as they tell us, that's that last portion when you're really getting ready to have things happen. That's when it's the roughest. When you're looking for that diamond mine and you're drilling for the diamonds, it's always that next step that you must take. So as we're going in and we're trying to finish this year strong, this is what we have to really do, is to get things together and make sure that we're going to end strong and end and put ourselves in a position where the 2021 will be better than 2020. Every day has to be better than the previous day. So when we're going out there and getting that fuel, let's get the fuel that we need so that we can also be fuel for other individuals. So as Brother Jordan said, we need to assess what they're ready for and then give it to them to make sure they can get to where they need to get. Remember, it's not about us. It's about the other individuals. Because as Zig Ziglar stated, if you give enough individuals what they want out of life, then you'll surely get what you want. And as we've noticed with baggage, you might have some baggage, but make sure you have surrounded yourself with some individuals that are going to that same level. Be like Grandmama said, watch the company that you keep. If you're the smartest person in the room, you need to go to another room. You're no longer growing there. We need to be getting into classes. We need to be talking to individuals, because with everything happening now, many of us are having to pivot from what we used to do to what we're going to do. So make sure that we're going out there being intentional. Make sure that we're fueling ourselves, because we know that we're high performance individuals. We need to be getting high performance fuel. Make sure that you're pouring that high performance fuel also into other individuals, because when we go out there and we fuel ourselves that way, we're taking our classes, we're getting our certifications, we're networking, we're connecting with individuals, we're definitely increasing our options. And what we look at is, yes, indeed, I see that Claudel is here with us. Thanks for being with us. Tanisha, thank you for joining us. And Wayne Boyer, again, servant leadership, because it is not about us. We are, and in our profession, we're public servants. So when we're actually out here serving others, that is what we're doing. We're pouring into other individuals. All of my educators, you think about it, you all are high octane individuals pouring into other individuals. So therefore, they're ready to ignite and take care of us. This is the exponential impact that you have with that high octane fuel. You think about it. One gas tank at a gas station fuels many vehicles. That is the same thing we do as individuals. So how many people are you pouring into? How many are you mentoring? How many are you sponsoring? Because there's a difference between mentorship and sponsorship. Mentorship helps you get to the next level. Sponsorship puts you at the next level. So let's go on out there. Let's get high, make sure we're using high octane fuel. Let's make sure that we're out there and connecting with other individuals, not just communicating with them, but connecting with them so that we can go to the next level. And Rashana, thank you for joining in there. You're doing a lot of things out there. If you all are looking at some nice combos and these type things, you need to watch Rashana Donovan, because she has some interesting things out there on YouTube with her things, some vehicle combos and all kinds of things, doing some dynamite work. So what we need to do is, when you all see each other commenting on these things, let's connect more with each other as we comment. If there are things that you want us to discuss about leadership, success, and going to the next level, what's going on in law enforcement, what's going on in our community, just put it in the comments. I'll be sure to address it. And once again, you can connect with me here on Facebook. You can connect with me on the YouTube channel. We're trying to just help everybody go to the next level, because as we stated, success is options. I am Dr. Gregory A. Salters, and you all have been seasoned for success. You all have a good evening.